everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Faren, your fashion guru, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some useful tips for easy hems. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so you can, I mean, no reason. Let's get started. Yeah! So this is my fashion studio. My name is Faren. Faren, you're so disorganized. So the useful hems we're going to be doing today, number 1, the even turn hem. Number 2, the dressmaker's hem. And number 3, the rolled hem. Make sure to stay until the end because I'm going to show you how to use this thing. It's an attachment foot for your machine to do a very easy hem. You're going to need a ruler, a meter stick, some chalk, pins, and your fabric scissors. But before we get to actually hemming, this is a very important tip. You have to make sure that your garment is hung for 24 hours before you start hemming it. This helps the fabric relax into its natural form. If your fabric is cut on the bias, your bias will stretch. Another tip. A lot of people take the measurements from the center front to the hem. This is not correct. You have to take this measurement from the center back because the waist is actually a bit higher than the center back. The waist does dip down approximately an inch at the center back. And you also have to make allowances for the room for the butt. That's going to affect your measurement at the bottom. So make sure when you're taking your measurements, you take it at the center back to your desired hem length. The next thing you do is you take the ruler to measure your hem. On this one, actually, it is a bias skirt and the center front dipped a lot. I actually like this hem length the way it is right at the side seam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure that 23 inches. I'm going to take that measurement to the center back. Okay, so I just take my chalk and find 23 inches and you do a little mark. And then you just go around the whole Judy, marking your 23 inches and making sure your ruler is flat on the ground. So now that you finished chalking, let's get to the cutting table. Lay your piece flat on the table and just start your cutting right at the side seam. As you know, keep your scissors on the table, pressing firmly, cutting from one mark to the next. Take this to the machine. We're going to be starting with the rolled hem. I know I said we were going to start with the even turned hem, but we're going to do the easy ones later. Get your machine ready with the proper thread that matches your piece and turn your machine on. Change your stitch length to about 4 or 5. We're going to do a basting stitch at the beginning to hold everything together, and also this helps when you're rolling it. Start and stop your stitches at the side seam. This will also ensure that you are sewing with the grain line. That is very important. Back tack and start stitching at 1/4 inch. All right, so we got that basted up. Use your basting stitch as a guide to roll your edge over, and that basting also sort of keeps it tight, you know, and it also eases in some of the fullness. This basting stitch is actually very essential to rolling. your hem. Okay, so once you have that kind of rolled over your basting stitch, put it under your machine, and what you're doing is an edge stitch. Change your stitch length back to 2.5, or if you want a finer, tighter stitch, go to 2. When you do start and stop your stitches, just to roll your edge, it's good to make sure that your needle is in your fabric so your piece doesn't slide around, and it secures your stitches so it doesn't look uneven. I'm lining up the edge of my hem fold with the inside edge of my presser foot. Bye! Next! The next hem we're going to be doing is called the even turned hem. With any hem that is over an inch, I like to press and prep my hem before I get to the machine. So with the even hem, I'm going to be turning it a half and then another half. But what I like to do with the iron is I like to press my hem up about an inch on the wrong side so I know that that is my finished hem length, okay? And then once I put it into the machine, all I have to do is just roll it under a half and tuck it right where the fold crease is. Okay, I don't even have to think. All I have to do is just worry about the creased edge. Okay, start and stop your stitches at the seam line that is underneath or on the inseam of your pant. Now we just need to concentrate on folding this under a half inch. Okay, that's really it. It's that easy. This hem is so versatile, you can use it on anything. That's it, we're done. Ciao. See, check out the pants we got here. For the dressmaker's hem, you need to serge the edge. You can zigzag it, or you can use pinking shears. And then what you do is you fold it where you want your hem, 1 inch or 1.5. It's always good to prep your hem at the iron before you put it in the machine. Okay, line up your presser foot with the edge of your fabric here, the cut edge. I am still looking at my guides on my throat plate here, and it matches up with 1 inch. And then we literally just go around our piece. There is always the option of doing a hem by hand. And the dressmaker hem would be the best hem to do this on. There's less bulk and there's more to capture. If you have a zigzag or something, you can do a blind hem by hand. And if you don't know how to do that, go check out this video right here and I'll tell you all about it. Next! Oh, hey, you remember this, right? This big old shirt. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use the rolled hem foot. This is an attachment for your machine. So if your machine doesn't have it, you could probably buy the attachment separately. It might be good to do a basting stitch first. Now we're going to change our foot. Okay, now that your piece, your facings are secure, you can finagle this thing into your foot. The trick is you really have to just get a sufficient amount of seam allowance into the foot so it goes in and it rolls underneath. The foot actually tucks it in for you, and you don't have to do the whole basting and the rolling by hand. It does everything for you. These foot attachments are very good for doing any fine fabrics or gowns, and you're just going to have to turn them by hand, which is very tedious work. It's just really convenient. That's what it is. Look at how pretty that is. Ooh. I know some of you have been requesting to see how to hem pants properly. This video was just an intro to into hems in general and my useful tips that I use for hemming. We are planning on doing a little more in-depth video on how to hem pants later on. So stay tuned for that. Some of the other topics that we're going to be covering is how to sew a t-shirt and fabric identification. If there's any other topics that you would like me to cover, let me know in the comments below. I hope to see you again. Ciao for now. I'm surprised you're not taping this.
I am.